In early November, oil prices reached a record high of $100 a barrel, doubling in price from their 2007 low of $50. The hike in oil prices is driving up gasoline costs, and many consumers are feeling the burden when they fill up their cars. For societies so dependent on our motor vehicles, rising gas prices are a real problem, as are the concerns that so many cars on the road is doing irreversible damage to the environment. Experts say the best solution is weaning ourselves from our dependency on oil. But for many of us, car-free travel is not an option. But there is an alternative to high gas prices that does involve a lot of sweating. There are people like Jamie, a Hudson High School teacher who converted his diesel engine car to run using vegetable oil, just like the kind you'd fry potatoes with, instead of using traditional gasoline. It's both cheaper and better for the environment, he says. What would you say are the best incentives for going green with your automobile?
A greater sense of self-reliance, a greater sense of your own destiny, a greater sense of being in control, some extra money in your pocket, putting less emissions into the air, laughing at the people who are paying out the nose for gas at the gas station, being part of a community that cares enough to take action instead of talk a whole lot of blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. Those are my favorites.
So Jamie has his reasons, but how does it all work?
So in the grease tank, we have a standard off-the-shelf tank that has been modified with a copper coil inside of it, and that copper coil contains the engine coolant, which once the engine is up to temperature after about 5 miles of driving, circulates that coolant through a coil around the filter and a coil in the tank, which heats the grease in the filter and the grease in the tank. It also is inside a hose within a hose. You can see the hose back here. This is a PEX tubing that's inside an engine coolant hose, which also is heated up on the way as it's traveling up to the engine compartment. All in a tidy package.
In mechanics terms, that all makes sense, but Jamie took us on a real-life drive to see how it handles.
So we've been driving now for a little while, and the temperature of the engine is up to 160. And at that temperature we can flip the switches to be running now on vegetable oil. We've changed our fuel source. So now we're running on 100% free waste vegetable oil. Going fast, quite fast, as fast as you want to go. There's no limitation, except for the car in front of us.
But for Jamie, reducing dependency on petroleum-based fuel doesn't stop with his car. He's devised a system to heat his whole home using vegetable oil waste.
If you want to heat your house with vegetable oil as well, you have to have an oil-burning furnace, or you have to replace whatever furnace you have with an oil-burning furnace. And then you will modify it by adding a heat exchanger to heat up the vegetable oil just like you would in the car, and also replace the nozzle with a siphon nozzle. And you're going to be using compressed air with the siphon nozzle to get your fuel. It's a process that you could learn a little bit more about online, and it's recommended only for folks who have a pretty high degree of mechanical ability, and also the desire to maintain it and to monitor it. It's not a set it and forget it kind of operation. That's all veggie oil.
And with home heating oil expected to hit record prices this winter, Jamie's version of going green for his home may, in the long run, save him some green in his wallet as well.